Hello, welcome to the Bronze Age Monsters bonus show. This is a show we do each and every week for our loyal patrons. For this new season of Bronze Age Monsters, the Bronze Age Buffet, we are going to do a different movie that is corresponding with the comic that we are reading. So we're going to be going through a bunch of different Bronze Age monsters, mummies, voodoo stuff. So all of that is going to be corresponding with whatever is happening that month of Marvel history. This month and this issue, we just talked about Supernatural Thrillers number 5, featuring Encanto, the Living Mummy. So the movie that we watched for this week was Wrestling Women versus the Aztec Mummy, correct? That is the English translation?
Yes.
Okay.
AKA Las Luchadoras contra la Momia.
We watched this movie on our bonus show on our Discord watch-along feed. And it was... no matter how good or bad the movie is, watching it on the watch along on Discord always is a good time. So if you're watching this bonus show and you aren't a part of the Discord, you need to be part of the Discord. Please follow our Discord, become a part of the community, and do the watch alongs with us, because my God, they are fun. They're something I really look forward to it, and it is great. Yeah. And we've become very close and watch a lot of really crazy, stupid movies together. And it's really, really fun. So yeah, if you listen to this bonus show, you are already our friend and need to be part of this Discord community. So I can't say enough about that.
So, for example, I didn't realize at the time that we watched this that this was not part of the Aztec Mummy cycle that exists in Spanish cinema. So there were 3 Aztec Mummy movies made at the same time to save money and maximize profit. And they were The Aztec Mummy, The Curse of the Aztec Mummy, and Aztec Mummy versus the Robot, or Robot versus the Aztec Mummy. I forget which one. And I thought the movie we watched, Wrestling Women versus the Aztec Mummy, was part of that cycle. Silly me. Come to find out, that's a totally different mummy. The Aztec Mummy of those 3 films I described was like Popoca, and he's his own thing. This guy was part of another series, and that was the only time there was a mummy in that series. So the series is not an Aztec Mummy series we saw. It was part 2 of the Wrestling Women series. So they first appeared in Doctor of Doom in 1963, and then this one in 1964, Las Luchadoras contra la Momia, and then they were in She Wolves of the Ring and in 1964 or 5, and then The Panther Women in 1967. So there's 4 of these Wrestling Women movies featuring what was the character's name? Gloria Venus and Golden Ruby. They're 2 wrestling women who are gorgeous and beautiful, and whenever they get into the ring, they magically get dumpier and stockier because they're replaced by body doubles for all the wrestling sequences, which are ample. But these are strange little films. And to your point, Jacob, of like that it's so fun to watch these on Discord together. I watched Doctor of Doom tonight before we did the show because I want to see the first of these. I want to see how Gloria Venus and Golden Ruby met, because I just discovered that this was a sequel to that film. And it was also, an hour, it was like 90 minutes, and it was not that fun. It's the same type of thing. It was actually better shot, better production value than the second one. It's a mad scientist who's putting gorilla brains in men and swapping women's brains and doing all this cliche B-movie mad scientist horse shit. Yep. And the wrestling women get involved. And by the way, the fiance character is in this, and the comic relief, his partner, the funny cop, is also in this, in case you were wondering. Apparently they're recurring characters also.
Oh God, that's so brutal.
So let's dive into this, because I had a snoot full of these guys. So we mentioned the 2 characters, and there's also some kind of like Saturday matinee serial kind of stuff going on with a Oriental, air quotes, villain, Black Dragon cult, Black Dragon gang. who is knocking off these archaeologists. This is how the film starts. And they're knocking them off because they're trying to get access to this codex, this Aztec codex that says where this treasure is. And is it clear why they want the treasure? Is it for the knowledge or the money?
I think it's mostly for the money, but yeah, right off the bat, if you're watching this film, if you ever, if you ever needed your fill of Mexican actors in yellowface, then yeah, this movie's gonna satisfy that in like 5 minutes.
It's weird because yeah, the guy that plays the Fu Manchu type of character. First of all, they keep saying Oriental, and then when they refer to them specifically by their nationality, it's Japanese, which none of their raiment or affect is Japanese at all. Yeah. But they're clearly not Asian. Like they're just people in yellowface, like you're saying. Yeah. Some of them not even like there's Asian people that live in Mexico and speak Spanish. Like, yep. You know what I mean? The same way that like you can watch a movie from Hong Kong and there's a European dude in there speaking, a different language like Mandarin or whatever, and like you can find people to fill these roles to be these people. Yeah, there's
you totally can.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the 60s, we have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, was it even judo? Judo is a big part of this film. What was it, judo?
They claimed it was. Were they actually practicing judo? Yeah. What the fuck would I look at me? Do I know what judo is? Good Lord. So the concept here is that since this is a carryover from the first film, she is engaged at the end of the first film to the cop that was involved in her case. And so a scientist comes and says, I know your fiance's father. I work with him. I'm Dr. Sorbet, something. Okay. And he's basically saying like they're killing all of us because they want this codex, this gang. And then he gets a blowgun dart in the neck and he dies. And then these wrestling women get pulled in to this whole world of espionage and Oriental intrigue, along with Aztec archaeology. And bottom line, there's a comic relief character who is painfully unfunny, which is kind of typical for a lot of films of the 50s and 60s.
It's standard.
40s, 50s, 60s. But yeah, the whole mummy thing doesn't actually show up until like 1 minute mark. So slightly over 2/3 of the way in the film, we actually see the origin of the mummy. And I actually kind of like the origin of this mummy because it's slightly different than the typical one. Like he's a black magic. He's like a brujo. Like he's a wizard, and he tries to take away this queen or whatever, and they bring him back and they mummify him, and then he's cursed to guard the woman that he stole away, and she gets this breastplate of jewels and gold, and his whole curse is he has to protect that and keep it safe in the pyramid. Yeah. So anyone that takes it away has to deal with him, and that is the last act of this film. But he's, like I said, he is a sorcerer, so he's also a shapeshifter, so he can turn into a bat, much like Dracula. Mm-hmm. They allude to the fact that he can turn into other forms, but all you see is the rubber bat.
Yeah, and they call him a vampire.
Well, they say like, is he a vampire?
Is he a vampire? Yeah. But you're right. I mean, yeah, he is probably a shapeshifter. But
he retreats with the dawn. Like, yeah, there's a very Nosferatu. The first time he approaches one of the characters, like it's literally ripped off from Murnau's Nosferatu.
Yeah. Even though, wow, the way that you are describing this is so generous compared to what the film actually is.
Gosh, thanks.
What you're describing, I would love to see that film. This film is not that.
Okay, but the experience of watching it with you all.
Yes.
I'm capturing that. I'm saying like the Doctor of Doom version, which is like, again, technically a better film production-wise, was just way less fun.
Yeah.
Because you guys weren't there and we weren't making jokes about how the referee looks like a milkman and
Yep.
that stuff.
No, it is. And yeah, obviously, which is, part of these films, there is a lot of wrestling. And yeah,
Unclear rules.
very unclear rules. Very, pretty unentertaining wrestling. And you and I are not wrestling aficionados by any measure, but pretty boring wrestling. Pretty, I don't know. I don't think I would have finished this movie if I didn't watch it on Discord. I think I would have turned it off.
I would have fast forwarded through the wrestling sequences for sure. That's not even a question. I rarely watch wrestling. I was making a joke on the stream, like watching wrestling, which I don't want to do under any circumstance, is like watching a magic act, which I don't want to do under any circumstance, which is there's no stakes because it's all fake, even more fake than it already is.
You mean watching wrestling on a TV?
Right. But I'm saying like a filmed version of a magic act, like there's no risk of like, can I pull off the illusion correctly because it's filmed.
It's filmed. Multiple takes,
up, you're like, okay,
angles.
Take 2. Okay, reset. Yeah. Everybody reset.
Yeah.
Places. Marker.
Yeah.
Audio to speed. Okay, action.
Yeah.
Hey, David Copperfield, do that thing again. But this time make the thing go poof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right?
no stakes.
There's no tension. There's no pressure. There's no whatever. So I don't care about the form anyway. And then like having no tension or pressure, like it's rough.
Yeah, the whole movie was rough for me.
Really? You didn't find any fun in the goofy, like Hanna-Barbera, Scooby-Doo, like, let's all team up and go to the pyramid and like...
Oh, that was funny. There was some entertaining things about the film, but, out of all the shit that we've watched for the bonus show, this is low on the scale for me.
Wow.
I did not identify with it. A lot of the time I was just like, oh, I don't know if I would watch these. I don't know if I'm definitely not going to watch any more of them. It was entertaining to me, but I don't know. I don't know. It didn't hit for me.
Okay. For me, it was definitely like again, I watched the first one alone tonight, so I can verify. I don't particularly enjoy them by myself as a shitty movie, even with like solitaire on my phone or whatever. However, watching the second one with you guys, I had a blast. Like that was fun. Was hilarious. I was like, I would watch the rest of these in this format. Like if we had the same conceit of like last season where it's like we roll die and it picks the movies and another Aztec Mummy movie came up, I'd be like, cool. I don't know, that's fine.
I'll watch anything with the Discord group. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll watch anything. But yeah, I'm assuming we're just going to stick with our claw ratings because we are Bronze Age monsters. So, I would assume that if we're sticking with our claw rating, we're simple monsters. I think if we stick with the claw rating, I'm going to go claw down on this one.
Okay. I got to go claw sideways.
Okay. That's generous.
It was amusing enough to me. I particularly liked, I think that you have, you've colored your view here, my friend, because I think that you seemed, I know you well enough, in the last act or so, when they were in the pyramid, you and Jason Farrell and I both all said like, okay, they actually kind of stepped up the like editing, the cinematography. Like
they did.
They actually made a sense of tension here. This is not filmed wrestling matches. This is not TV level like drama. Like it's a horror movie now.
No, the last
bailed it out.
The last 15 minutes were actually pretty good. Yeah. It wasn't enough to give a sideways claw to me, but
fair enough.
You're absolutely right. The last 15 minutes, the Mummy itself is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I love the Mummy.
The Mummy was really cool. The last 15 minutes were an actual film.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a bunch of garbage taped together. And also, I feel like we're not talking about what I'm assuming is recycled for every one of these movies. There was actually like about a 4-minute segment that was like a very high production value, like hundreds of people being filmed, like this Aztec ceremonies and stuff like that. Like that was massive. I don't know what that was used for. That had to be repurposed from something.
I can only imagine that they borrowed that for the English language version or something from the actual Aztec Mummy series, because the main critique of the Aztec Mummy movies, which this is not one of,
This is not one of, okay.
is that they recycle the flashback footage constantly. Like it's like compulsive behavior. Like, we shot this gorgeous Aztec sequence, blah blah. They use it nonstop. I don't know if this film was related at all, and it has any of that footage. That might be the same footage. I don't know. I haven't seen the other series.
I would assume so, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I was very entertained for the last 15 minutes of the movie.
But that's not enough to raise a claw up to a sideways. I get it. But for me, I kind of have a predisposition to liking these. Like, when I was collecting weird burned DVDs and VCDs, like in the early aughts, I have some of these weird masked wrestler horror sci-fi movies. So like, I kind of like these even with a love-hate thing. So
you do.
I'm predisposed to this. Like,
you
so
are.
Yeah. I didn't enjoy Doctor of Doom as much. However, like I was telling you in text, like, I'm gonna watch the other two. I'm already in for a penny, in for a pound. Like, yeah. And I get it. I also kind of like the lady that Elizabeth Campbell that played Golden Ruby. So,
I'm not going to argue with you there.
The tall one, and
the tall one.
Yeah, and I was also interested because I was researching her, and it turns out like she was in a bunch of like exploitation stuff like this. She was an American who went down to Mexico, shot a bunch of these like this stuff, spy movies, some westerns, whatever. And then she said, I'm going back to New York and I'm going to be on TV and blah, blah, and plays, and virtually disappeared. Like, not literally, but so I'm fascinated by those stories like that. So,
yeah, I mean, that is fascinating.
All right. So we have a tie to break here.
Okay.
So if, I think it's between Scream, Blackula, Scream, and Sugar Hill. So let's say heads is Scream, Blackula, Scream.
Okay. Tails.
Sugar Hill?
Sugar Hill.
Cool. That's what I was pulling for.
Yeah, me too.
So that's our next movie, which I'm excited to watch because I love blaxploitation films, and it's been on my list forever. So right on.
Cool.
Again, like you were saying, Jacob, if you're watching this and you're not watching the movies with us on Discord, what are you doing?
What are you doing? How is your life gone?
Are you even membering?
Yeah,
bro?
You're not. Yeah.
So I look forward to that. I love voodoo, especially as a film conceit. So should be interesting. I'm bummed up by how many Mummy movies we're watching this season more than Voodoo. I watch more Voodoo than Mummy.
Me too.
I typically don't care for Mummy movies, but it's the bulk of the season. Bulk of the series, dude.
Bulk of the series.
Okay, so we're gonna keep this kind of short because we had a long session tonight, but I mentioned on the main show that I went to Jason Atomic's not Jason Atomic's, but I mean I went to the Columbia-Willamette Pagan Pride Day because Jason Atomic, a guest from England, had a display there where his stuff was displayed. He was like, hey, if you're open and free to it, I'd love to have you guys go check out my stuff. So I went and took some pictures and walked around. So this is at Oaks Park, which is an amusement park, which is, how old is that, Jacob? 100 years?
Easily.
So it's an old amusement park on the river in Portland. And if you've seen the 90s movie Dr. Giggles, produced by Mike Richardson of Dark Horse Comics.
That's right.
You've seen Oaks Park. It's been in several movies, but it's basically like a classic permanent amusement park in Portland, Oregon. And there's these like pavilion settings where it's like covered picnic areas and whatever. And so that's where this was. And I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but it was, I'm assuming, pagan people are cool because they're the minority. So everyone that's in a minority of any population is always cool because they're not in a position to be dicks. So sure enough, everyone was super sweet and kind. There was like a meadery there doing flights of meads. We bought a bottle of mead that was delicious. Tons of jewelry, as you can imagine, jewelry that has a function and it's decorative. There were some Halloween masks. There was some handmade clothing. There was some magic spell stuff. There was like fairy crowns, like you can buy that made from different things that help you see fairy kind. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
That type of stuff. But it was just a billion people just around in a whole fair type of situation, being awesome. And I went with Renee, my wife, Athena, my daughter, and her friend Avery, and the girls were super into it. And Renee and I did the meadery tasting and bought some mead, but the girls like were running off buying enchanted earrings and magic rune necklaces and all that shit. Like they're all about that. So yeah, it was awesome. And I went to the table where Jason Atomic's art was, and I got photos of the people that talked to them, and they were super kind and like, oh my God, you know Jason? Like, isn't he the best? I'm like, yes, he's like literally the best.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we walked around there for a while and did that, and it's pretty cool. I'm glad I went. I had no idea something like that existed. So until Jason in England told me about it, I didn't know it was a thing. Pagan Pride. And
That's great.
Honestly, I was expecting like Seventh-day Adventists or someone like with like sandwich board, like brochures and shit to be standing outside of it. Nope.
None. I love it.
Super cool.
Well, it's Portland.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's people like with that shit outside of Kaiser Permanente on Sunnyside and 101st, like every day, like by a bus stop, just like waving with pamphlets in this giant sandwich board like thing.
Yeah.
Every day. And I drive by and I flip them off every fucking day.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought they'd be like, saying, oh, you're satanic, whatever.
But no, that's great.
No. Just a bunch of people like wearing shirts that say like hex racism, stuff like that.
I love it.
Just kind of my people, but not my people at all. Obviously, I don't have people. But yeah, it was cool. I'd go again.
I wonder how long it's been going on for.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there was like a schedule at the entrance of like different like workshops you could attend.
Oh.
Like, the typical like hexing and whatever, like
that's awesome.
A little goofy for me.
Yeah, but that's cool.
That's cool. People do stuff. I imagine you feel the same way with like with the library stuff, where it's like there's a lot more cool people in your population than you realize, and people that are, it's kind of like heartening to realize like,
yeah,
the population's more diverse and people are more interesting than you might think at first blush.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So no, it's always a good thing. It's a good thing to see, that side of humanity and be like, oh, we're not that bad.
The downside was, Athena's like, can we just do like 2 rides? And I was like, sure. What's like $8 a ride? Okay. But they don't do that. It's bracelets only now. So,
yep.
So we bought her and her friend bracelets. So, spent $100. How
much was that?
Bucks. It was like $42 a person. So,
oh my God.
For like an hour. Because like we had stuff to do later. It was,
that's hard. Yeah. That's tough.
But I love my daughter.
You do. And if anyone's in Portland and wants to go roller skating on an all wooden roller skating rink, Oaks Park is for you.
So while the girls were doing rides, we went to the rink and had tater tots. And listened to the guys play the fucking pipe organ. Like
damn right.
I can't believe they still do that in this day and age. You would think it'd be like Shakira or some shit blasted.
Oh, it is sometimes. But
is it?
Yeah,
okay.
if they ever do like events and stuff, they're always going to do the pipe organ.
Sunday at like 2:00, it was packed as shit with birthday parties, whatever, people skating. And there was a dude fucking working Phantom of the Opera, goddamn giant organ, just playing old shit. And I was like, God damn, this gives me faith in humanity.
Yeah, it does. No, just that wooden rink exists with the pipe organ. It's just
Maroon 5.
Yeah, no, everything's good.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I have some stuff to talk about, but we'll save that for another episode.
Sure. Sounds good. So yeah, again, just like on our main show, we don't quite have a sign off. And yeah, we don't quite have a sign off for this new. It's interesting since we're doing the Bronze Age buffet, like you said, we're going to be changing every episode, kind of. I mean, there's going to be a run where it's just supernatural thrillers, right?
Yeah.
Like,
the Mummy's a run for a bit in the middle of the season.
Mummy's like, yeah, we'll at least have, I think, 5 issues in a row that'll be Mummy, I think, if I'm correct. And so, but yeah, aside from that, we're going to be jumping around. I mean, this is a buffet, you know, you take a little bit here. You don't just fill up on bread. Like,
and you don't need to make outros for every character. That's
no, that is
blanket
goofy.
Outro.
We do need a blanket outro. I think, you know, we have the Stay Bronze on the main show. We need something for the bonus show that we will come up with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not tonight
though. No. So, yeah, I guess that's what we used to say is that you know, that's the bonus show. We raise our glasses. That is the bonus show. We'll do that for now.
I still say Hail Satan, but it's unrelated to Damon Hellstrom.
I say Hail Satan every day.
Right on.